Most people make ads that do not convert. They're wasting thousands of dollars on a campaign that's not driving in a single result. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to look at to start seeing real results from your campaigns within 48 hours of making a change. Over the years, I've helped dozens of manufacturers scale with paid ads, whether it's for B2B or B2C, e-commerce or lead generation. I'm going to be sharing with you what has worked for my clients and I. So if you want these type of results in your business, continue watching because it's about to get good. When your ad's not converting, or you want to have the best success when you're first launching an ad, the first area you want to put most of your focus in the early stage is the messaging. And the messaging is going to be on your ad and landing page. And the reason why these two areas are extremely important is because it's going to allow the platform understand what your campaign is about, what your offer is about, as well understand who to deliver your campaign to. So when you're building out your hook, your offer, as well your ad positioning, you want to do market research and learn more about your prospect. Whenever I say this to a client, they all say the same thing. Oh, I already know what my prospects want. Oh, I already know. Or even worse, they would say, I'll target everyone. Everyone needs my service. If you're targeting everyone, you're not going to get anyone. That's plain and simple. We should all know that when it comes to advertising. We want to identify who our audience is. So in order to get our audience attention, the hook is going to be the first area that we want to focus on. So the hook can be a headline on an ad or the first couple of seconds in a video. So let's say I was going to target a contractor. Instead of me saying something lame like check out my new service, I would say, if you're a contractor and you're manually chasing leads, you are wasting hours weekly. Right there, I'm calling out my audience, the problem that they have, and a solution without saying exactly what the solution is. So now when it comes to the platform, whether it's Facebook, Google, Instagram, it's going to know who this ad is intended to, and it's going to improve their user experience because these platforms care about user experience. The longer people are using their platform and spending time on your landing page or on your website, the better it is for that advertiser, which is going to maintain their costs relatively lower than if you weren't doing that. Next is understanding our messaging for our audience. Because if we want to target someone just getting into the space of contracting or remodeling, we're going to say something pretty elementary like bids, leads, jobs, gigs, something along those lines. But if you're trying to get in front of a owner of a company that probably has 300 employees, or maybe he has several offices around the state or in many states, we might want to use a language that's going to resonate with them, like looking to increase your company's evaluation or looking to increase your company's EBITDA. This is going to help you eliminate who we want to not target and focus on those that we do want to target. So your language and your messaging for your audience is the key factor to a campaign success. So now we have our hook, we have our audience. Next is our offer of the ad. If you have a crap offer, you might as well not even advertise. So a crap offer would be someone in my space saying, hey, we'll run your ads. That's extremely elementary. They've heard it time and time again. There's zero curiosity in that or interest. And most of the time they hear something like that and they really think, oh, I've done that in the past and I've got burned. As a manufacturer, have they used your product before, whether it's a B2C or B2C? And if they had a positive or negative experience, this is going to make a world of a difference. And especially if you're in a competitive marketplace. A lot of manufacturers, they all offer really the same thing, right? If we're talking about manufacturers that does CNC, or we have a manufacturer that's producing wood flooring, the offer is going to be everything. So if we want to look at a product that we're all familiar with, let's look at headphones. If we look at an Apple commercial, they talk about their M1 chip. Who knows what level chip that they're at now, but they'll talk about the M chip that is providing the sound cancellation feature that they're announcing to the public. Instead of saying sound cancellation, they're highlighting that chip. So as a advertiser or as a manufacturer that's selling a product, you want to focus on the result that you're delivering to the audience. And then lastly of this section is going to be your ads positioning. Your ads positioning is going to help you either stand out in the marketplace or have you blend in whatever Tom, Dick, and Harry that is out there. There are 4 areas of market awareness. We have unaware, problem aware, solution aware, and product aware. So an unaware market is when you want to focus on the problem your audience has, but you want to build on the curiosity. For a problem aware market, you want to show the solution and educate. Now, these areas in an ad positioning, you're only going to discover this by market researching. Do not guess, because you're just going to be blowing money, and that's not why I made this video. I'm making this video to turn a failed campaign or increase your odds to have an extremely successful campaign at the early stage. Then we have solution aware. Solution aware is quite common, and that's pretty much where majority of advertising is. But this is where you want to differentiate your offer. Just how I mentioned before with calling out contractors, you want your offer to stand out. And then last is product aware. This is when people are kind of already familiar with your product and other consumers. You mostly going to use this in retargeting, but you want to talk about your value proposition, your case study testimonials, and as well, you leverage some urgency. If you only are able to help an X amount of clients, or you have a long lead time, and if your product sells out, there's going to be another 3-month wait, leverage that, because that's going to build scarcity and urgency for people to purchase your product or service. Now that we have a better understanding of what our messaging for our ad landing page needs to look like, we now have to go into the next step of what the prospect will experience, and that's going to be your sales funnel. Your sales funnel, also known as your landing page, is going to mean everything to your campaign success. If your page speed is not up to par, and a free tool you can use right now to test, and this is something that I want you to pause this video and do, is type in gtmetrics.com on your browser, and you're going to type in your website page, and you're going to be able to see how fast your page loads, as well what changes you can make right now to improve the speed of your site. So when you plug in your site, you want to aim for a grade B and higher. Now, if you're using a page builder or a plugin to design your website, that's going to be a big reason why that page score is under a B, maybe a C or a D. Something that you could do to improve that score is getting a new theme and not use page builders anymore. Page builders are notorious for causing sites to be sluggish. When you're aiming for a load speed, we want it to be between 1.7 seconds or 2 seconds. Of course, faster than that is better, but when we start going into 3 seconds or 4 seconds, you're going to notice your conversion rate for the people that come to your site and take a valuable action is going to start dropping down dramatically. So once we have our page load up, we want to make sure that we have one goal for the prospect, whether it's for them to fill out a form, give you a call, purchase something. We don't want to ever drive traffic to a page where there's many different options. People are going to get lost. They're not going to take a valuable action, and you're going to be wasting money on ads. Your page layout is going to be everything. When you enter onto a website, what you see, the top half, that's called your hero section. That hero section, you want to make sure you have your hook, your offer, and your call to action, whether it's buy now, fill out a form, sign up, whatever your goal is, you want it to be right there and visible. A simple rule of thumb for a layout is EDIA. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's A for attention, I for interest, D for desire, what the prospect wants, and A for action. And lastly is having congruency. You want to make sure what you're saying on your ad matches exactly what is being said on the landing page. So if your ad says fill out a form to book a call and your landing page says book your free consultation, that's gonna be a problem. Even something so minor, you want it to match identically. Then on the bottom half of your page is where we're gonna have our social proof, or at least below your hero section. So your social proof can be case studies, it could be video testimonials, it could be stats, numbers and figures talking about how effective your product is. This is where we're gonna start building belief in your product or in your service. You gotta keep in mind, today's age, everyone's a little skeptical, especially with the internet and the older generation, or even younger generation, leveraging this platform looking for a specific goal in mind. You want to have case studies in place showing them that where they're at is the right spot. They should trust your process. They should trust your product. And if they're going to take a valuable action, they're not going to hate themselves for it. So like if you're going to collect a phone number and email, mention that you're not sharing their information with anyone. If you're collecting a payment, have some trust badges on there that you are secured. And now the final area that we're going to be looking at for why a campaign is not converting. And it's quite surprising, to be honest, because it's just a couple buttons or something to plug onto your site that can make a world of a difference, but it's not sexy or talked about. And that's not having any pixels in place. So a pixel could be a Facebook pixel that's able to track conversions on obviously Facebook, or Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics that can track a conversion and send that data back to the platform to understand who to target and what action we're looking for. Because these platforms know exactly who are more likely to fill out a form, who's more likely to purchase something, who's more likely to like and share or watch video. So having a pixel in place, as well understanding the proper objective of an ad, makes a world of a difference. So be sure to have tracking in place for your website. If you're collecting a form, have a pixel code there. If someone has to fill out a form, make sure there's a thank you page that will trigger that pixel, because that's something common that most companies don't do on websites, as well being able to leverage retargeting with these pixels. So retargeting is when someone visits your website, does not take a valuable action, we're then able to follow up with them potentially with another ad, another landing page that can provide them a better experience and build more belief and trust in your product for them to either purchase or fill out a form. Then we have our exclusions area. So exclusions is extremely powerful because if we're trying to stay out of a certain zip code, we're able to do that. If you're trying to exclude people who are filling out a form and not see your ad again, you're able to do that as well. If you're getting people who are filling out your form looking for a job, we could remove that behavior in one of your exclusions for Google Ads. Having exclusions in place is literally a simple lever you can place to see better results in your advertising. And lastly is what I spoke briefly about, is having the proper objective. So if you want someone to come onto your site and fill out a form, a couple objectives you can use for Facebook is leads, or even I believe they changed that, but it was sales now. But it was sales at one point. Now I believe everything's under leads objective. So if you're on Google, you want to focus on search and performance max. If you're selling a product on Facebook, you want to focus on the sales objective, or on Google, you want to focus on search, performance max, as well as the shopping objective. So these are going to be the areas that you want to look at if your ad's not converting. However, it's still more than pushing buttons. There's a strategy you need in place. You need to perform market research. And if you want this done successfully, you're going to have the opportunity to click on the first link below, schedule a call with me and my team. We're going to walk you through the exact process on how to turn a failing campaign into a successful campaign, identify what competitors are doing, and some of the easy levers you can pull right now to see better results. Thank you for watching. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.